You could easily be forgiven for taking one look at Little Kitty Big City and just dismissing it as a kid's game. The cute and cartoony look immediately invites that perspective, but playing through it actually leads to a pleasant surprise. Really, it's a title to be enjoyed by cat lovers of all ages. Little Kitty Big City is a hybrid game. It's part platformer, it's part collectathon, it's part adventure title, and part, well, it's part Untitled Goose Game if we're honest. This is a title all about the mayhem that cats stumble their way into on a daily basis, only taken up a notch owed to the cityscape to explore. Despite being jam-packed with tons of critters to meet, hats to collect, and mischief to cause, Little Kitty Big City impresses most with its natural exploration, giving the player ample opportunities to uncover hidden areas, whether they're on street level or high above, or to just cause a bit of fun on their own. The only thing that holds this title back is the sometimes finicky controls and physics that may see your cat glitching out, getting stuck, or falling unexpectedly. Now, there's nothing game-breaking that I stumbled across, but it's evidence that a bit more time was needed to polish things up and to properly playtest the game. Still, Little Kitty Big City is going to be another lovely 5-hour experience for anyone who's been craving more cat gameplay since venturing through Stray a couple years back. So with that, let's get into this short review. Little Kitty Big City opens with a moment of panic. A sleepy kitten takes a tumble, but is saved by a passerby crow. On the city streets below, our feline hero finds him or herself in uncharted territory, but a sense of adventure soon washes over. After a brief tutorial that establishes the basics, getting the zoomies, smashing everything in sight, causing a bit of chaos, and leaping from ledge to ledge, you're set free in a bigger chunk of the city. From there, you're tasked with giving this crow 25 shiny objects, which are like the game's currency, and after doing that, you soon unlock the entire city to explore to your heart's content. In this way, the game doesn't overload the player immediately by unlocking the full map from the start, instead smartly gatekeeping bigger sections of the city without the player even realizing that is what has taken place. This allows the player to naturally stumble into some of the fun and some of the new mechanics as they play, especially those granted by other characters like fast traveling from this tanuki or this rhino beetle who unlocks photo mode. But once you do unlock the full city, there's so much to discover. This includes both structured content that comes in the form of mini quests, as well as moments of player-driven fun. Those things that you create on your own. Starting with the latter, and it's astounding how much cute chaos you can cause in this game. Whether it's knocking over everything in a convenience store, leading you to get kicked out, or even chasing humans around with scissors. In this way, the game feels heavily inspired by 2019's Untitled Goose Game, where a similar prankster vibe was found. This time though, things are tailored towards feline mischief, and it maximizes the fun. The game keeps a log of activities for you to complete. These are small tasks that can be completed in just a few seconds, but you are asked to do them repeatedly. But since there's so many to choose from at a time, you naturally feel like you're checking them off a list as you do one every once in a while. This includes things like taking 20 photos, or catching 20 birds, or making 10 humans fall over. There's no story incentive pushing you to do these things, but there is an irresistible satisfaction that arises from doing these tasks as you move through the city from second to second. And in this way, the game almost inspires the same feeling you might get from a management game, always feeling like there's one more little small thing that you could do before stopping your play session. And for me, that's always a great feeling for a game to nail. Basically, any of the funny or goofy things that you can think that a cat might do, you can do in this game, and the game rewards you for doing so. Of course, all of this player-driven fun crescendos with vertical ascent. After unlocking the full map, our crow companion will mark fish locations on your map. By consuming fish, your cat unlocks more stamina that allows them to climb up vines. These are crucial for finishing the main objective of returning home, but are also critical in discovering all the city's secrets. This includes rooftop ventures where the player may find more collectibles like shinies and hats and, well, other NPCs. Speaking of those hats though, and these are so satisfying to uncover and equip to your feline friend. What can I say? They're just adorable. While the game excels in this player-driven fun and chaos, it's also not afraid to provide a bit of structure, and it comes in the form of NPC animals that you meet along your travels. You can almost think of them as quest givers, often giving you new things to do, like helping to unlock all the fast travel portals, or playing hide and seek with a chameleon. While your overall objective remains climbing back up to your home, these interactions provide the meat of the gameplay experience. And much like the content in the logbook, these quests are relatively simple, but they're a lot of fun to do. And because they're so short, it always makes you feel like you're easily progressing towards 100%. And that's probably the game's greatest strength. Everything you do from second to second makes you feel like you're making progress, whether it's completing something in the logbook or helping one of these NPCs with the task they need done. The player is constantly rewarded, and it makes you want to keep playing. I should also mention that the interactions you have with these NPCs are pretty funny. They did a good job of using referential and callback humor to get some chuckles out of me from time to time. My favorite of which was the rhino beetle who's obsessed with their phone, so much so that texting lingo has now carried over into their speech. That's right, he's a beetle that says LOL out loud. The beetle goes on to describe that saying LOL at the end of a text is a good way of masking the emotion behind it, especially if that emotion is sadness. But then, by proceeding to say it out loud during moments of stress, you as the player feel like a part of the in-joke. Every time I saw that little LOL when talking to the beetle, it made me smirk. It's witty dialogue like that that really carries these interactions and helps promote the lighthearted nature of the title. The only slight hiccup in the gameplay would be the physics, which are sometimes a bit wonky. There were times where my cat momentarily got stuck, or clipped through things, or fell out of bounds. Luckily though, the team seemed to be aware of this as there's safeguards in place to reset the cat's location. For example, if you fall into water or through the map completely, you'll just be plopped back on land at a close by point. And if you get walled in by a water puddle, your cat will eventually jump until reaching stable ground, and from there, you can jump back to a safe location. I'm not sure if there's a safeguard for every bad situation, but the ones I found myself in seem to resolve themselves after a few seconds, but it is still something to be aware of. They didn't get it quite perfect. Now, no matter if you're doing player-driven exploration on your own, or completing a quest for an NPC, one thing that's easy to appreciate is how the controls aren't so automated. I really enjoyed Stray, but much of the leaps and climbs felt artificial because they were tied to a single button prompt, a lot of the time at least. But that's not the case here. Every jump forward is a deliberate action that the player must make for themselves, lining up the right leap for a good landing. And even walking close to edges can see the cat leaping down if you aren't careful with your positioning. So all in all, there weren't these instances where I felt control was being taken away from me, and instead they trusted me to act accordingly. It wasn't just, oh, press X and the cat automatically leaps. No, it's line up your jump and make it properly, and if you screw up, you have to live with the consequences, and I really appreciated that agency. And finally, graphically, I think the world is exactly what it needed to be. Bright, colorful, and inviting in order to match the game's tone and mood. By dipping heavily into a cartoon version of a familiar city, the team is able to make the world feel recognizable and navigable without focusing on hyper-realism or anything else too crazy. This game wanted to look and feel indie, and it certainly accomplishes that with the art direction. While I wouldn't call it anything special, and perhaps maybe a little bit lacking in regards to the faceless design of humans, it's still a good fit for this style of game. And more than anything else, it ran really smoothly, and it didn't have like pop-in textures or any frame rate dips, so that was a plus as well. Outside of those few times where I fell through the map, yeah, that was a bit weird, but everything else, pretty good. So yeah, that's Little Kitty Big City in a nutshell. If you have Xbox Game Pass, I heavily recommend checking this one out, especially if you're a cat lover or you enjoyed playing Stray. The game does a fantastic job of keeping the moment-to-moment gameplay worthwhile by offering up simple but fun tasks to complete and rewarding you often. There's also a lot of player-driven fun to experience, and the game isn't afraid to rely on some cat tropes like cat naps and being afraid of cucumbers to enhance the experience further. As you explore, you never know what kind of zany situations you'll get yourself into, and it just made for a lot of fun. A handful of cute and funny NPCs make the world come to life as well, and the art style helps in tying the whole thing together. All in all, it's a really cozy and really easy to enjoy title that's perfect for a Sunday morning gaming session as you have your cup of coffee. If you're in the mood for some light-hearted adventure, then give this game a shot. In a year where I've been trying to play a bunch of short games, this is very easily the best one I've played yet. Thanks for watching. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this brief look at Little Kitty Big City. What a title, truly, what a title. If the art direction didn't make it look like it was a kid's game enough, then the title certainly does. But look past that, trust me, it's a great experience. I think it's one of those titles that really is best experienced on your own. I mean, it is a pretty short game, so I didn't want to get too detailed and spoil the whole experience, so yeah, we're just gonna wrap things up here. The next video is going to be on Shadow of the Erd Tree and won't be out until late July, I imagine, but hey, there's plenty of other videos on this channel to check out in the meantime. And if you did play Little Kitty Big City, I want you to let me know what you thought in the comments below. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing for more, follow me on Twitter at NopNapNarp, join our small Discord if you want to chat directly with me or any of the other fans, and the link for that is in the description below. And as always guys, have a nice day, and take care.